You are in your wedding dress, looking nervous but determined. Your parents beam with pride as you walk down the aisle. You see Taeyong for the first time. He is even more handsome than you imagine. You saw pictures in internet and your heart skipped a beat. You blush slightly and can't help but admire him. His presence is overwhelming. He, however, looks stoic and detached, his gaze fixed straight ahead. At the altar, the priest began the ceremony. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. You glance at the Taeyong, he avoids your gaze, looking straight ahead. You feels a pang of disappointment but tries to focus on the ceremony. Do you, Kim Taeyong, take Lee Wai-en to be your lawful wedded wife? I do, he said monotonously. Your heart sinks a little at his tone, but you tries to ignore it. You remind yourself why you are doing this for Taemin, and perhaps a small part of your hopes that you can bring some warmth into Taeyong's cold world. Do you leave and take Kim Taeyong to be lawfully wedded husband? I do, you said softly but with sincerity. You both exchange rings. Taeyong's touch is brief and impersonal. You try to smile, but your heart is heavy. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you both as husband and wife. After ceremony, you both came to his house, which is also yours now. And now you are in his bedroom, standing at the door, and Taeyong is saying something that you don't ever want to listen, the words which will break your heart. Let's get one thing clear. This marriage is a business arrangement. You are here to take care of my son, nothing more. Don't mistake this for anything else. Don't think that there is chances anything between us, and don't expect anything from me. This was a transaction, plain and simple. He said coldly, tears welling up, your earlier admiration fading, replaced by a deep ache in your chest. But I genuinely like Taemin. I want to be a good mother to him. I want to be a good wife. I want to build a family. He interrupted, said with his voice hard and dismissive. Don't pretend. I know why you agreed to this marriage. Don't think for a second that I actually cared about you. You are just a caretaker, a glorified nanny. Understood? You are a means to an end. Nothing more. Don't try to paint this as something it's not. It's business, pure and simple. Your voice trembling, your eyes filling with tears that threaten to spill over. Yes, you look down, trying to compose yourself, but the hurt is evident in your voice. Your lower lip trembles. I understand. You whispers almost to yourself. I thought maybe. He cutted you off, his voice laced with impatience. You thought what? That I could suddenly fall in love with you? That this charade could be somehow become real? Don't be ridiculous. My heart belongs to someone else. It always will. A single tear escapes and rolls down your cheeks. You wipe it away quickly, but more follows, your voice choked with emotion. I just thought maybe we could be civil, that we could at least try for Taemin's sake. He scoffs. Civil? You think I'm capable of that? You think I want you in my life any more than is absolutely necessary? You are here for Taemin, nothing less. The sooner you understand that, the better. Your tears are flowing freely now. You can't hold them back any longer. The coldness in his voice, the utter lack of compassion, is like a knife twisting in your heart, and you were sobbing softly. I just. You struggles to speak, your emotions overwhelming you. He turned away, his back to you. Don't cry, it's pathetic. Just do your job, take care of Taemin. That's all I ask. And don't expect anything more from me, because you won't get it. Taeyong walks out of the room, leaving you alone, sobbing uncontrollably. Your dream of a happy family, of finding love and belonging, has been shattered into a million pieces. The reality of your situation hits you with full force. You are trapped in a loveless marriage, your heart broken, your hopes dashed. You sink into the chair, burying your face in your hands, and tears continuing to fall. Later that night, Taemin enters the dimly lit room where Taemin is sleeping soundly in his crib. He stands by the crib, watching his son's peaceful face, a rare tenderness softening his features, and he whispered, "You are the only good thing in my life, Taemin, the only thing that keeps me going." He gently brushes a stray strand of hair from Taemin's forehead. He lost in his thoughts, remembering Yuri, their dreams of a family, their happiness cut short. A sign escapes his lips, and he said to himself, "I'm doing this for you, son, for both of you, even if it means." He tries of unable to articulate the sacrifice he feels he's making. He turns to leave the room, but a moment in the doorway catches his eyes. You were standing there watching him. He didn't notice you entering. You are wearing a simple nightgown, your hair loose around your shoulders. Taeyong feels a flicker of something he can't quite identify. Surprise perhaps, or something else entirely, and he said in his usual cool voice, "What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be?" He gestures vaguely towards the door, and you said in soft voice with hesitant, I want to see Taemin, make sure he was settled." He scoffs. He is fine. He doesn't need you hovering over him. You flinch slightly at his harsh tone. You take a step back, your eyes downcast. I understand. I will just go then." You turn to leave, but Taeyong's voice stops you. "Wait." You stop and look back at him, your eyes questioning. You seems to genuinely care about him." His voice still cool, but with a hint of something else, curiosity. "I do. He's a wonderful little boy." You nodded slowly, his gaze intense, searching. "Why? Why what?" You said confusingly. "Why do you care? You barely know him, you barely know me. Why are you here? What's your angle?" Your eyes widen in surprise. You take a deep breath, trying to compose yourself. I don't have an angle. I told your mother, I told you I like Taemin. I want to be a good mother to him. I want. You hesitated, then continued in a low voice. I want to be a good wife to you. He scoffs with your words. A good wife? Don't make me laugh. This isn't a real marriage. You know that. I made that perfectly clear. Yes, you did. That doesn't mean I can't try. That doesn't mean I can't hope that maybe things might change. Your voice gaining strength. Hope? Hope for what? For me to suddenly fall in love with you? To forget about Yuri? To pretend that this fast is something real? His eyes narrowing and you shake your head. No, not that. But maybe we could learn to respect each other, to be friends, partners for Taemin's sake. Taemin stares at you, his expression unreadable. He is silent for a long moment. Then he speaks, his voice low and husky. Don't get your hopes up. I'm not capable of what you are asking. He turns away, dismissing you. You feel a wave of disappointment, but also a flicker of determination. You won't give up, not yet. Good night, Taeyong. You leave the room, closing the door quietly behind you. Taeyong is left alone with his thoughts. His heart a battlefield of conflicting emotions. The Kim mansion is a hive of activity. Servants are bustling about preparing breakfast. Mrs. Kim is arranging flowers in a vase, a siren smile on her face. Taeyong comes downstairs, dressed impeccably for work, his expression guarded. Good morning, Taeyong. Did you sleep well? Fine. Van is already up. She is in the dining room with Taemin. She made breakfast. Taemin stops, a flicker of surprise and perhaps an annoyance crossing his face. She doesn't have to do that. We have staff for that. She wants to. Taeyong, she is trying. Can't you see that? He signs and says, Uma, please, don't start. He heads towards the dining room. He finds you already there, sitting at the table with Taemin. You are helping him with his cereal. Your face lit up with a warm smile. Taemin looks delighted. That's nice. He sits down at the table. You glances at him. You smile slightly hesitant. Good morning, Taeyong. I hope you slept well. Morning, he said without looking at you. The atmosphere is thick with unspoken tension. You try to make conversation, but Taeyong remains distant, answering in monosyllables. He focuses all his attention on Taemin, ignoring you as much as possible. He feels a strange mix of resentment and guilt. He resents your presence, your attempts to integrate yourself into his life, into Taemin's life. But he also feels a pang of guilt, seeing your effects, your genuine care for his son. Taeyong is at his office. He is in a crucial meeting, but his mind keeps wandering. He sees your face in his mind eyes, your gentle smile, your kind eyes. He replays your conversation from the previous night in his head, your words echoing in his ear. I want to be a good wife to you. He scoffs inwardly. Good wife? That's impossible. He can't. He won't let anyone replace Yuri. You are in the garden with Taemin playing with him. You both are laughing and chasing each other. You're both joy infectious. Mrs. Kim watches you both from the window, a look of contentment on her face. She picks up her phone and dials a number. Yes, it's me. Everything is going according to plan. She is exactly what we need. Taeyong arrives home late that evening. He finds you in the living room curling up on the sofa, reading a book. Taemin is asleep in his crib nearby. The scene is peaceful, domestic. It makes Taeyong feel uneasy. You are still up? I was waiting for you, Taeyong. Waiting for me? Why? I want to talk to you. About what? About us. About Taemin. About how things are. There is no us, and Taemin is my responsibility. You don't need to concern yourself. His voice hardening. But I do concern myself. He's become important to me, and I want to be a part of his life. I want to be a part of your life too. Taeyong stares at you, his expression unreadable. He sees the sincerity in your eyes, the genuine warmth in your smile. He feels that flicker again, that something inside him that he can't quite define. But he pushes it down, burying it deep. He is afraid of it, afraid of what it means. Don't do this. Don't you try to force something that isn't there. It's not fair to you. I'm not trying to force anything. I just want a chance to show you that I can be, that we can be. You extend then continued, your voice filled with emotion, that we can be a family. Taeyong's face hardens. He sees the hope in your eyes, the vulnerability. He can't bear it. It's too much. It reminds him of what he lost. Stop. Just stop. This is a waste of time. You are here for Taemin, nothing more. Now if you will excuse me, I'm tired. He turns and walks away, leaving you standing alone in the living room, your heart heavy with disappointment. You know that you have a long and difficult road ahead of you, but you are determined not to give up. You believe that somewhere deep down there is a man behind the cold facade, a man who needs love and healing. You are determined to find him even if he doesn't want to be found. To be continued.